And today we are going to talk about the Blair Witch series. Currently there are 3 films within the Blair Witch movies. This one being my absolute favorite. It's my favorite found footage film, one of my favorite horror films of all time. I know there's a lot of excuse me, there's a lot of people out there that don't really care for this movie, and I can kind of understand why. You know, at this point found footage was just getting popular, and people spoofed this movie, made fun of it. You know, I just like it for what it is. I thought the actors were them, you know, they played themselves. There was no really, you know, like overacting or anything like that. They, you know, they cursed, they laughed, they cried. It just everything. There's a mix of emotions, and I think, you know, not showing the witch and all that was awesome. In my opinion, it made it scarier that way. But it's just a lot of fun. I just really enjoy this. I saw this in the theater, and, you know, ever since then I was hooked. And I don't care if the movie's not real. I mean, that's not even the point. I could care less if it's real or not. You know, at the time when we saw it in the theaters, there was all that speculation. Is it real? Is it not? You know, it turned out not to be real, but I didn't care. I thought it was really good. So here's the Blair Witch Project on Blu-ray. I've had this movie, well, actually I think I still have the other formats, VHS and DVD, so it's got a lot of special features. There's some cool stuff on here. There's discovered footage, there's the commentary, which is interesting, never before seen alternate endings. The Curse of the Blair Witch is actually pretty cool. It's like this documentary on, you know, the kind of like the mythology of the Blair Witch, and then there's the legacy. Really cool stuff. I definitely think this is one of the creepiest films. It's got creepy elements. I can't say that I'm like scared, but it was just sort of creepy. So anyway, that's the first one, Blair Witch Project. Then we get to Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. This film was really disappointing. They tried to, you know, shoot it like a real Hollywood film, because all the first film was a documentary, a bunch of footage put together to create a documentary made into a movie. This one, you know, was just basically, you know, actors and actresses, you know, like they're just making a legit film. It didn't work. There were some cool parts, but all in all, the story was lame. You know, a bunch of people, you know, dancing naked in the woods, and I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it as much. But as a completist, I have to have it because I'm a completist. As stupid as that sounds. So this comes with the CD, which is interesting because I've never actually listened to that. But it's got the CD soundtrack. It's kind of weird because it comes with the CD, but the CD is also the DVD. You just gotta flip it, and it's one of these things too. I hate. I'm not even gonna try to get it out. But if you flip it over, that's the DVD side. So it's weird that they did that. I don't know why they just couldn't have 2 discs, but whatever. So yeah, that's the Blair Witch 2. I have not heard anybody to this day say that they like this film. I have not heard anybody say that. So if anybody in the comments, you know, says they like this film, I want to tip my hat to you because you would be the first person that I've ever heard say that. So last we have Blair Witch. And it's funny, when this movie was actually marketed, I think it was called The Woods at first, and then I believe, I'm not sure if they found out that if they just called it Blair Witch that, you know, they'd get more asses in the seats. This movie had a good 10 minutes in the third act. The last 10 minutes were pretty cool. They were pretty intense, but in my opinion, they tried to redo a lot of the moments from the first movie, and they tried to add on mythology of the Blair Witch. They actually show the witch in this movie, which was ridiculous. I think that that was a huge mistake, in my opinion. It just looked like a fake, you know, like a typical B monster film, like you're looking at this fake CGI character. But I just think they should have went a different route. And plus, like, you know, this is found footage, and you hear like these big giant sounds and like sound effects out in the woods from the witch stomping on the ground and stuff like that. It's just, it's stupid. It's really stupid. Like, it just doesn't match. It doesn't add up, especially when you have found footage. Pointless characters. The characters in the Blair Witch Project were more likable. Heather, Mike, and Josh. They were, you know, all three of them guys were likable. These characters, I don't even remember their names. I didn't even care. But, you know, this is a story about Heather Donahue, who went missing. Her brother actually is looking for her after, like, I don't know, what was it, like 15 years or something like that. They think she's out there because they see a YouTube video, so they go out there trying to find her, and then all hell breaks loose, of course. And it was a stupid motive to actually go out there. This movie, in my head, I could make a good Blair Witch sequel. In my head. And they had all the opportunity in the world to do it here, and I think they failed miserably. But like I said, I would actually watch the last 10 minutes of this film because it's very entertaining. But up to that, I couldn't even give a crap. So, would I say it's better than Blair Witch 2? I'd say yes. Being like I said, the last 10 minutes are pretty cool. I can't even remember one time in Blair Witch 2 where I was entertained, actually. I mean, there's a girl who gets naked, that's about it. So, anyway, guys, there's the Blair Witch films. There's a lot of love and a lot of hate with these movies. It's very controversial, I guess you could say. But I will always defend the first one. I think it's a well-made film, especially for found footage. Compared to some of the crap we have today. But anyway, yep, that's the Blair Witch movies. So, tell me what you think in the comments. Stay tuned for more of these horror collection videos. I hope you guys are enjoying them. And I have more coming up soon. Alright, I will see you guys in the next one.